Everybody, welcome to another episode of the Brick of the Week. And I'm very excited about two guests we're going to have on today. And I don't know about you guys out there, but I am off to an incredible start in 2025. So all the hard work we've done, that I've done for the last almost 2 years, and have added some great teammates, Paul, and then one of our guests today, Michael. And I just want to encourage everybody out there. Building anything great is messy, and you just have to continue to push forward. You test, fail, you learn, grow. You test, fail, you learn, grow. And with that data, it helps you make better decisions, because what you think you want to do is probably wrong. And how you're going to get there is definitely wrong. So the more you test, the more you fail, the more you learn, the more you grow, the better off you're going to be. So appreciate everyone's support on all of our social media channels. The sun is shining here in Detroit. It has been a dark, cold couple of weeks, and I miss living in South Beach. Just watching that intro, seeing the Heat games. Thank you to my oldest son, Adam Jr., for falling in love with hockey and dragging me to all of these cold states. But that's what you do for kids, right? So want to invite both Michael and Alex to join us today. And what I'm going to do, honestly, is get the hell out of the way, because I don't know what I'm talking about. And Michael's been teaching me a lot of things on LinkedIn. I do about 20% of them, and you've seen my stats go through the roof. So if you're probably on LinkedIn. I know we're streaming other channels, but you need to listen because what he is teaching and using Alex's tool to do, everyone that has followed that process has had success, 100% success. But the key thing that I said was followed what they were supposed to do. So Alex and Michael, thanks for joining us today. First, Alex, just let you introduce yourself, and you guys can have a conversation and let the guy that doesn't know anything get out of the way.
Man, you're learning fast, so I'll give you more credit than you give yourself. But yeah, I'm Alex, and the founder of Aware. I have built agencies. I've been a head of sales in the past. That's kind of where Michael and I's paths converged a while back. I've been doing the LinkedIn thing for 8+ years at this point.
Yep.
So thank you to everyone in the chat who is coming in from Vegas, Germany, Salt Lake City Airport. Someone in Greece said he had a date night tonight, so he couldn't make it. Georgios, we will send you the recording. Go to your date and have a good time. I'm looking forward to this a lot.
Well, thanks for joining. And Alex is one of those guys that undersells himself consistently. Definitely has had a lot of success, knows what he's talking about. So I'm excited for this conversation. And Michael, I'm going to have you keep this to 1 minute or less.
So Alex does undersell himself. I will not undersell him. I think Aware is the thing that is probably the greatest thing that I think has happened to LinkedIn, and probably the people. The one thing I will say about Alex is that he has no idea what he's built. Because he's actually literally curing a massive sickness on LinkedIn, which is burnout. I've been there twice. And I can tell you that the first time I did it is because I was listening to what other people on LinkedIn tell you to do. And they tell you to do it blindly without strategies just because they think volume works. The second time I burnt out is because I was trying to set the record for the most comments through Aware. And I did hit that record for the year. The funny thing about it, because I have Aware now, I only started with Aware, Alex, remind me, April or May, maybe it was March at earliest, is I'm already like not even trying this year, and I'm already, I think, at 5,000 comments. So it's just, this is a tool that will literally save time. And if you value your time, and if you value money, because money is time, and you value your health and seeing your kids and seeing the days, sunlight, especially when it's short now, this is a tool that I urge everyone to use. And I also want to give a shout out to what looks like 1 or 2 people, maybe it's 1, that must have blocked me because I can't, it says LinkedIn users. So thank you for joining anyway.
Maybe they didn't put their name in.
I don't know. It says LinkedIn users.
No, people block Michael once a week. So, and then what's even funnier is a month later, they resend him a connection request. So I do want to tell everybody, listen at your own risk. So if you are like in type A, this is a loaded gun. I flew out to LA. Mike was talking trash about how many comments he had on LinkedIn. Well, on the way home, I had to outdo him. So I think I did 1,400 comments on the 4-hour flight home just to prove him that I was better than him. So enter at your own risk. So where do you guys want to start today for our listeners?
Well, let's start with, I think, a big question that causes burnout. I want to hear Michael's answer first, which is, what does good look like, right? Like on LinkedIn, there's a bunch of different definitions of good. Michael, for you, you blew up last year. What does good look like for you in terms of what you're trying to do here?
Well, I'd say the irony of it now is that what I thought good looked like, I think, is a veiled problem. Most people think good is the vanity, right? If you look at what people are selling, most people start with, I'm going to grow your following. Then they talk about how many impressions they had. And then they talk about how many likes they had. And then they talk about lead gen and all that other crap, which, by the way, I had the likes. As a matter of fact, I'm actually going the other way now, is that I don't want the likes and I don't want the impressions. I actually look now for the thing you talk about a lot, Alex, is what's your percentage of engagement, right? Are you at 0.5% per post, or are you at 5 or 10% per post? Because the resonating and the relationships are not built through 0.5% engagement of 1,000 likes and 50 comments. That's not where it's built. It's built with 50 comments and 50 likes because you have a very curated, nurtured network. So I think what I thought good looked like last year, the stuff that you talk about, even like, oh, you grew to 7 million impressions from 300,000, that speaks to how focused and concentrated Aware allows you to be. But I'm telling you right now, it's meaningless because I have a post right now that I'm literally thinking of, like, I don't know how to quell it. It keeps on going. And I've got a 1.7 million impressions on this one post. It's useless. All it is a bunch of likes and impressions and a bunch of funny thumbs up, like this thing, that Adam loves. It's useless stuff. And what I see good now is comments and people who come to me and say, dude, that post was funny. That post was great. I love what you're talking about. What do you do? Are you so careless? Like, that to me is the stuff that matters, is the people that go like, I love that post for this reason. And it's not AI generated commentary. AI generated comments are not comments. They're just a waste of energy. And me, I respond to everyone. Every comment I get, I respond to. So you can imagine if I get 100 comments that I have to respond to, and 50% of them are like AI, like, inspiring, change dash, game changing and thoughtful, insightful. I can't. And so I realize what looks like good to people who are selling LinkedIn is not good to people that are actually using it and showing up every day.
Yeah.
You forgot spot on. That's my favorite. Spot on. Spot on. Spot on.
How AIs thought that spot on was like the thing to say. They all say spot on. I'll take it one level deeper. I think that it's the engagement is the sign that you're engaging with people. So if your business doesn't grow, like, what is the point of doing this? On some level, it has to be because of the relationships you build, I think. And I mean, 7.5 years ago, when I started my last company, I had a big settlement agreement to pay off a mortgage and no salary. And I couldn't survive on likes. It was just very, very clear. I am not going to be able to pay my bills or get out of this situation back against the wall with freaking impressions. So I didn't care about impressions. I'd much rather have 10 likes. And one of them was like a budget holder at a company I wanted to work with, or somebody who said, I really like your vibe, let's meet. And their friends were, people I should connect with and so forth. So it's funny you mentioned the thing in my post about your reach growing, because at this point, there is this weird dichotomy of stuff you can say to get people to pay attention, and then stuff you do after people are paying attention that is, I think, more substantial. And so, like, one of the dark arts of LinkedIn, I'll call it, is the art and science of attention getting, and then what do you do with it, right? So if all you can do is get attention, like you said, it just falls flat, right? But if you have, okay, I'm willing to do some stuff to get attention, but then my intent after that is to do something better, or like funny or meaningful, or to connect, or to or sometimes to sell, right? Like sometimes that's the point. Then that's where the magic really happens. So I'm not the best hook writer on the planet, but I have really, really good intent in everything I do. I think on LinkedIn, and you do as well. I think that's why it works really well. Like that's why House of Bricks, I mean, sounds like grew a ton as far as like membership and revenue over the course of the year, because in part, Michael's just, it's not about the reach. It's about all the just sheer volume of people that are just, they have an opinion on Michael now. And that's the thing I love the best is whether you like him or hate him, you have an opinion once you know him. And I would much rather that be the case than anything else, because if you reached 100,000 people and they thought you were bland, what was the point? So I think good looks like whatever the intent you're here for, it's you're having a good time, you're getting toward that. And if reach helps you, great. But it can't stop at reach, right? What do you think, Adam? Am I characterizing that right as far as like LinkedIn influencing the business growth?
100%. So in the last quarter, we've already done this month what we did last quarter in terms of revenue. My LinkedIn has gone through the roof everywhere I go now. And I'm not exaggerating that. People are like, I love your content, keep doing it. And I'm like begging them, at least throw me a like. It takes 2 seconds to click that button. Say spot on, anything, but people use LinkedIn and read it like a newspaper. It's not Twitter. It's not TikTok. It's not Instagram. These are business people. And so you're raising awareness. And like you said, at least people will have an opinion on you. So if you ever have low self-confidence, post on LinkedIn, because everyone will agree with whatever you say. I want to see more conflict. I go home and I just feel, 150 people liked everything I said, and I go home and it's not that way. Wow. So you have to readjust your mindset when you're dealing. Vanessa, are you watching? When you're outside of LinkedIn, there is a reality of people that will disagree with you. But I'd love to see more healthy conflict. We're business people. Sure. It's a professional platform. Have an opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. That seems like a big reason why people burn out is because they do things that they just say spot on. They only agree with things. They do a lot of like scrolling and like thinking they're doing stuff, but they're really just consuming and they're not producing. And if you're growing a business, it's production. I mean, the first thing you do in business is produce. And if you're not focused on that, you're going to go on one hamster wheel after another. Michael, what are your favorite LinkedIn influencer grow your account like burnout traps that people are told to do that cause them to just flame out after 2 months?
Well, I'll tell you the worst one is especially the people that I wouldn't say I learned from them. I learned what not to do from them, but it's the first reason I burnt out was have an Excel spreadsheet of your top 100 people and comment on their stuff every single day, wanting to get the reciprocity going. This is a massive mistake, because what you basically have with LinkedIn now, I find it actually funny, I post about it, is you have 100 people who comment on 100 posts, but they can't read them because it's 100 posts. It's impossible to read them. So they do the AI commenting, which is going to get you a lot of impressions because you're going to get reciprocity. But the people that you're commenting on, and you don't know what they're talking about because you don't read their posts, they come back and comment on you, but they don't read your posts because they're just commenting on yours and they're doing the same thing. Yeah. So you have 100 people that are basically, it's like if I'm going down Route 17 here south and you're going north and we pass each other, but I have no idea who you are. But you're like, well, we did pass each other. So I got you to drive by and you got me to drive by, but we have no idea what either of us was selling. And then people wonder why all the biggest accounts, what we consider the successful accounts, when you really ask them, they're like, I need a job. I make no money here. I'm burnt out. I can't keep doing it, because LinkedIn sucks you in. It wants time. It wants attention. It wants every single thing that benefits LinkedIn. It doesn't benefit the people using it. So that's where the burnout happened. So the moment that I actually started reverse engineering it, like I took LinkedIn last year and basically took it to the point where I wanted to break it, but LinkedIn didn't break. I broke. Right? LinkedIn never breaks. It doesn't care, right? It's like, it doesn't matter. So once you realize where the breaking point was, and I started realizing that Aware wasn't a tool for growth at all. I was like, I don't care about the growth. How do I enjoy myself here, not burn out, and not have to look at LinkedIn's not really good messaging and commenting and data stack, because I'm trying to scroll and look for people that I'm trying to find, but it tells me, well, here's a guy that you think you might like, and you're like, oh, and you go off on a tangent. it's really Aware is a place where you can not burn out. You can actually control your time. You can determine who you want to see and only focus on those people. It's basically like the best networking event in the world, where the people you're talking to, you know exactly why you're talking to them, and you don't have to go and have the same mundane conversation, and it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So I think that is the foundation for me, and for anyone else who's going to use it, is going to be, I'm not going to burn out chasing the algorithm and what it wants me to see, because the algorithm doesn't care what you want; it cares what it wants. And that's, once you realize that, you'll realize that that's where the burnout comes from. That's not what people are selling. They're selling impressions, likes, and the vanity metrics, because with follower growth, nobody qualifies follower count. What they qualify is the quantity. And based on that quantity, you must be an expert. I mean, remember that post? Who do you think is more impressive? 400,000 follower guru or a Navy SEAL with 400 or 400 followers? The people actually have to ask questions and qualify. Well, what are the quality of those connections a Navy SEAL has? They have actually asked questions relative to followers, not the person. And I'm like, I can't believe I actually am having people ask me, well, I guess the guru is more impressive. I mean, 400,000 followers, that's so impressive. They don't even care that it's a Navy SEAL. What about the president of the United States versus a guru? Who's more impressive? Well, the president has no followers. He's not on LinkedIn. Well, the president's not impressive.
Well, I'm all about action. So listen, we're the three best guys on earth. We're just, let's just pat ourselves on the back. We know what we're doing. So if I'm listening to the show, I got it. Okay, I'm using LinkedIn somewhat. I know I'm doing it wrong. What do we want to talk about? What's the tool? And how do we get people to prevent burnout with some actionable steps?
Can we answer Tracy's question before we jump into that? Tracy,
only if we disagree with it. No, I'm kidding.
So the second one, she says, I see that you have to belong to the club. I don't belong to the good old boys club. Okay. No, when it comes to LinkedIn, nobody ever did until they just started doing this stuff. I didn't belong to any club either. I joined LinkedIn, and my thought process was, I want to see if I know anything worth sharing. And I started doing all the stuff we're talking about, like trying to help people, having offline meetings, getting ignored by a lot of people. And eventually, over time, with enough persistence and enough, posting about like, hey, we closed another client. Here's what we did for that client. It starts to build up. It starts to pile on slowly over time. Within 6 to 12 months of like seriously engaging with this and doing it, I was really off to the races. I mean, this was years and years ago, but I started as a 25-year-old nobody, just posting and commenting and doing these things and seeing who would meet with me and learning. So if it looks like any other social event where you don't know if you belong, Tracy, then when you put in that effort and you show up, you really do engage, rather than, and we met a few days ago, so I'm incorporating some of what I know about you and your story here. But if you really do all these things like that Michael is talking about, for example, that will change. You will have your own club, and other people will look at your club and say, well, how would I join that club? And you will tell them the same thing of like, well, I showed up and I built my own presence here. And in the way that Michael has, like nobody else, right? Michael's built his own club. And now I'm like, I don't even know if I'm in that club, because it's just, there's this fan club around the stuff he's built.
Enter at your own risk to enter that club.
But it is a club. And like, that's the thing that Tracy, if you never get started and really take it seriously, and let me take it seriously. I don't actually mean seriously as in serious face. I mean like throw yourself in, right? So throw yourself into it. And I hope that you will see that if you want to join their club, it's there. And if you want to create your own, that's equally possible for you. It's just about showing up and engaging and doing these things. Anyway, I didn't want to let that go. Michael,
yeah, good point. For sure.
Yeah, look, I'll tell you the thing that I lean into more than anything, and I honestly do try to do it every day. My intention, and I wrote about this a couple of days ago, One, if I don't enjoy this, if it's not entertaining for me, I do LinkedIn very differently. People tell me I'm crazy. For the last year, they said I'm crazy. Every time I say a metric, they say I'm crazy. I said I don't use AI to write posts. I write my posts every single day. I don't schedule them out. If I have nothing to say, then I won't say anything. I'll just say something stupid like I have nothing to say, whatever it is, but I'm not going to reuse, recycle. So 600 posts later, and I have never recycled. People go, oh, you're crazy. That's so much time, man. No, I just schedule my posts out for a month. I'm like, I don't remember what I said in a month. How am I? It's not real. Two, I told people I had 1,100 phone calls. They're like, that's stupid. That's too many phone calls. Why? I met 1,100 human beings that I now know. How is that stupid? They're like, well, how many leads did you get? Like, leads? Who gives a crap about leads? I met human beings. These aren't avatars.
Yeah.
Who cares about leads? Everybody, like, there's no sales from that? I'm like, I'm not selling. I am meeting. 2 days ago, I had 4 phone calls. They all turned into coaching calls. I wasn't saying, well, now you now owe me money, or please, how about 5 more lessons? People ask me questions and I answer them. That's how this platform has to be. And to be honest with you, every day I set up, if I don't have fun doing it, I'm not going to do it. And if I don't have fun doing it, my next thing is I want to have fun, and I need people to have fun. Everyone on my platform, like, who comes up and shows up, I want them to enjoy it, because this shouldn't be work. This isn't work. It's not fun as work. That's why people burn out, because they're treating it as a thing they must do. So my biggest, simplest thing, every day I show up, I say, how many people can I get to dislike me today or piss them off? Because the truth sayers are the ones that piss off and are hated the most. So if you speak enough truth, you will either get a fan club or get a hate club. I don't care. I want real love or real hate, but I don't want fakeness of any kind. And that's just my model. That's why I don't care. And I have the courage to be disliked. If anybody has read that book, please read it. The Courage to Be Disliked. It's an amazing book. I don't care if you like me or not, but I want you to tell me, Michael, I don't like you. That's fine. But tell me I'm wrong. If somebody wants to challenge me on if I'm right or wrong, that I care about. If you like me or don't like me, honestly, thank you for liking me. Thank you for not liking me. But challenge me if you disagree with me, because I want dissent. I live for it. And if you prove me wrong, I'll say, you know what, you're right. But so far, I speak the truth. I'm not making things up. And, I'm not even going to tell the story that happened a couple of days ago when I posted the dating app idea. I'm not even going to tell that here, but
funny.
These are stuff, I make this stuff up, guys. This just comes up to me and I post it. There's no filter. Maybe I should have one, but what's the point,
Yeah.
So let's jump in. Alex, tell us what is Aware? Tell us about the product. How does it help? And we can give some people some tactical advice.
Yeah. Like I said, I started using LinkedIn to grow my agency business. And through doing that, I noticed a lot of things where I was starting to resort to spreadsheets and bookmark bars and reminders and keeping everything in here, spending a lot of time. Naturally, I ended up thinking, okay, well, it seems like all the stuff that I'm doing, that I'm noticing other business owners doing, could be shortened and made better and less burnouty and more efficient if there was a tool to do some of these workflows. So Aware helps me analyze my performance more than I can on LinkedIn. So I can easily look at what content of mine seems to be resonating the most. I can tag, I can label, I can see how I'm doing now versus before. I can correlate how I'm doing now versus to other things that I'm doing. So is my increased engagement outbound leading to, if I do care about reach, is it leading to more reach or is it not? I can take that and correlate it to my business revenue, like new sales and signups. And I can see how things match up. The biggest thing that I've used Aware for the longest, though, has been the engagement feeds. So I use Aware to create custom engagement feeds of topics, people, industries, niches that I care about. So like other LinkedIn growth people, BD marketing. I have lists for each of these. I have like a kind of a friends list. I have an automatically created list of people who engage with me the most, and it's their posts. So I just have an easy way of having momentum and giving back to my community. I can find all the replies on my posts that I never saw, because for the life of me, I don't know why there is no way yet in LinkedIn to see a list of all replies you have not responded to. It doesn't exist. There are usually notifications which you can turn on and off for all posts, including yours, that have had engagement on it, which is extremely annoying, because if I want to use that at all, I have to then turn off notifications for every single post I've commented on, which is just a giant pain in the ass. And what I want to do is just see who is engaging me that I haven't gotten back to. And I start my Aware day with the replies feed every morning and just go, Oh, I didn't even see that reply. Hey, Jesus, like, yeah, totally. Oh, Michael commented this thing. I didn't even see that 3 days ago. Like he commented twice. And I'm just always finding myself doing that. So the engagement feeds for me is I start with performance. All right, how am I doing? I go to my replies feed. I go to my community feed. I go to my influencers feed. Then my post for the day goes up. I keep doing it a little more. And I'm done in 15 minutes. It's not a tool I want you to spend a long time with, which is funny because I think Michael uses it much more than I do. But you would spend more time if you didn't have it. So I think
I disagree. I'll tell you, it's ironic, but I don't agree. It would be, so here's what the tool actually does. I would actually have logged out and stopped using LinkedIn a long time ago because of how painful it is. But your tool is so seamless and easy. I find myself using it more because it's so seamless and easy. So what you're actually saying is counterintuitive because yes, you would think you could use it less. If you want to do what you did on LinkedIn, to do it on Aware takes you a third of the time.
Yeah.
But what you start going is, wait a minute, if I can make 15, 20 comments, but takes me 20 minutes to do it. Well, I'm going to spend 2 hours here and do 200 comments because it's so much easier. So the irony of that is actually backwards. It's what you built it for is not what it does because the efficiency allows you to just say, I'm just going to hang out. And I will tell you this, I tried something this part of the year, which is bonkers to me. I was in Argentina traveling. I wasn't really engaging. I didn't have time to engage with people. All I've been doing is posting, responding. And do you know that the 90% of everything I've done, 4,500 comments so far in January, has just been responding to comments.
Wow.
And I've had 2.5 million impressions for January. Last year, I was at, I think, like 58,000 or some crap.
Yeah.
Like something like that. So like all I'm doing is just so if I didn't have the reply tool, of that alone, this tool is worth $100 a month.
Yeah.
I don't care.
100. Hold on a
Yes.
second. $100
Yes.
bucks. I would pay 1,000, Alex, and I'll tell you why. Okay, because I value my time, and I value the ability to measure success. So a parallel or an example or analogy we could give is LinkedIn every day is like opening the phone book and trying to find someone and starting over every day. There's no index. It's just a phone book with a billion names in it. And unless you're tracking who's responding when, and like you said, the notifications are going off, and then you got Instagram notifications everywhere.
Yeah.
I view Aware is the advancement from calling out of the phone book to a CRM. And I can classify who I want to engage with, why, when, how often. And it doesn't have to be complex. Even on this call, right? Alex uses it for X. Michael uses it for Y. But it depends what your goals are. But if you value your time, paying whatever it is, and Alex, we're going to have an offline conversation. You need to raise the price of this thing. If you can, 2 hours into 20 minutes and you make $500 an hour, and you do that every day, to me, the tool's worth $8 to $10 grand a month. I know we're not going to get there, but it's just value. You value your time, you value your impact, and what it also allows you to do is to be consistent. So if you have someone that you're trying to engage with or build a relationship, over time they just see you popping up in their feed. And Michael, coached me on this. It's like Inception. And then all of a sudden you go to a CEO Vistage Summit, and I've been adding all of these people from Vistage into my Aware. I'm commenting every day, and it's like they know me. They know more about me than I know about myself because they're following my feed. So it's about efficiency, impact, and valuing your time.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. And Marina, thank you for the idea. I really appreciate your enthusiasm for Aware's sales numbers. We should talk offline about that, but no, I'll have a funny pricing story after Michael says.
So look, this is important. I just thought of this too. There's people that, and I think it's wrong, the Aware, for anybody listening, and I'm probably going to piss off every single ghostwriter, lead gen expert, and a guy who does done for you LinkedIn, where they engage on your behalf by clicking the AI button to do commenting 100 times a day. The reason Aware exists is so you don't need to outsource your personality and personal brand to someone else doing it. It is literally there so that you can save time, and the 300, 400, 500, $1,000 a month you're spending for someone to do this for you, you can spend for the time being this 39, whatever it is, $49, and you can take ownership and create your relationships. Because if you're busy building relationships, especially when coaches do this, if you're a coach, listen, if you're a coach and you have someone else engaging on a bunch of profiles using AI from your name, and you are actually trying to build a reputation as a coach, you are ruining your reputation. You are not getting traction because it's not your thoughts. You need to do scarcity. 5 comments that mean something rather than 100 that mean nothing. People pick up on this. And that is the thing where Aware could really help you. And by the way, the reason that I use Aware so well is, and this is the one time because the number one thing that people ask me, and I think this is a problem on LinkedIn, nobody knows what I do. People reach out to me, they comment, they engage me, they go, dude, I have no clue what you do. And I'm like, did you read my about section? No. Did you see my experience section? No. So I guess the expectation is that if you don't write content to tell people what you do, they have no way of knowing what you do.
No.
So this is crazy. I don't talk about what I do. I don't want to talk about what I do, and neither do people. People want to know and talk about themselves. But what I did, why I'm so good with Aware, is because I have 20 years of experience doing this. I have been at the C-suite running sales teams. I have my own recruiting agency for 7 years. And there's a LinkedIn user, I don't know his name, but he said, I would appreciate if you could address my comment. He's been reaching out to hiring managers, and this is my area of expertise. I probably know this as good as anyone that knows it. So one is, don't reach out to anyone in talent acquisition. Do not do that, especially recruiters. And do not reach out to talent acquisition within companies. HR is there to tick boxes. They're not going to take, calls, and they're not going to talk to you. Do not reach out to recruiters. They only care about the jobs that they have that they can put you in, not jobs good for you that they have to go seek out. I just talked to somebody the other day about this, Brad, and I gave him some insights of what I think about the recruiting space in general. And he's been wasting hours and hours of his time sending messages meaninglessly, applying to countless jobs. It doesn't work. There's a strategy that you can employ, and it all comes down to sales. Everything is a sales strategy. How do you reach out to people? What is the comment you make? What is the strategy you use? How do you do it? There's people burning out every day looking for work, and I feel bad for them because they think they're being ignored and that their profile, their resume is not impressive. I'm telling you guys right now, if you're applying, if you're out of work right now, reach out to me and I'll tell you, it's not you. No one sees your profile. No one's ever even seen your resume. They're too busy checking boxes to ever even pay attention to you. So it's not you. It is the system that is broken, and you guys are just unfortunately a cog in a broken system that can't be fixed. It has to be blown up and rebuilt from scratch.
Yeah.
And just to tell everybody, listen, we're not getting up here and how did we learn this? We tested, we failed, we learned, we grew, right? So I did the in-mails. I did the posting and ghosting. I paid somebody $5,000 for nurture sequence. We've all done it. So the good news is now there's some awareness. You like how I did that? I used Aware. Thank you. Oh, Aware commercial. I know. I'm amazing. I can just do that on the fly. Wasn't planned. Well, it's just personality. So if we're, we've tried these things, and I think what Michael's saying, and even on that question, if you build the relationship first, treat LinkedIn like a cocktail party. Do you go to a cocktail party and hit everybody with your business card? Like, no one wants to talk to you. Are you passing out flyers in a parking lot and put it on people's windshield? Or are you establishing your brand, your voice, giving back? And I did talk about the 10x power of giving. I believe in that. On LinkedIn, it's probably 100 times. You have to give 100 times more than you expect in return, but then the tides will turn. So last year, Michael went insane, comments every day, had me posting 2, 3, 4 times a day, commenting on all these things. And I burn out even with the Aware tool because I was trying to overdo it, and I didn't see the value, or now I didn't see the value of really building the relationship. When you're posting and people comment, that's where you can get a lot of your engagement. So you have to be there when you post to respond. So go ahead, Alex.
So Peter's asking, what is the pricing story? So we didn't really increase our prices recently. We only did for monthly, but we reduced them for annual, and our actual cash revenue went up 40% month over month just by making the default annual, which is kind of bonkers to me because it's ideal to get our commitment for you to use it and stick to it for a year, just like I paid for House of Bricks membership for a year. And it's a signal of commitment, right? So at the same time, like our cost of capital is like this much because we just, if you pay monthly, it went up, but if you pay annually, it actually went down a little bit. So we kind of took your advice, but not quite, Michael, on raising prices. We did raise cash prices in month one, but we don't have another price increase plan. But yeah, Peter, that's what we did, and it's been so far. So I was real happy about that.
People need to commit to this tool. I think, like you said, a lot of people are going to give up. I'll be honest, I don't think a lot of people know even 10% of what a way to use your tool because they don't understand LinkedIn. At the end of the day, they look at it in the wrong way. It needs, somebody has to show them how to do it. There should be honestly, you should offer a program to actually go through and do this. I know you guys can't really hear me because I dropped these in the water, but you definitely need to show people how to use this tool. And I will tell you, guys, anybody who is watching here today, you are not going to end up in some lead funnel. That will not happen, I promise you. But if you have any questions for any one of us, please reach out. Anybody can contact me. I'm an open networker on LinkedIn. You can literally send me a message. My phone number and email is there. Send me a text. We're here to help you. We're here to answer questions. That's the whole point of this. There's no tactics behind this. This is just an exploratory thing for you guys to be able to see that there's a better way, a healthier way. And if you think of anything that I want to be known for anything about LinkedIn is that I want it to be the healthiest way you can show up here without it affecting you, because that's what I care. Your time, your family, your business, so you can focus on it, but not burn out chasing the things that people tell you need to chase here, because all of it is fake.
That's such a good point. And I know we're a little bit over what we thought was time, but so no lead funnel after you go to this thing. I have not demoed my product once. I could have screen shared, but I didn't. We're not going to pitch you after this. I just joined House of Bricks recently, have been enjoying the community. I'm a member, as are House of Bricks people in members of Aware. And then we just decided we wanted to change people's minds about stuff. So we're here. And I think there's a lot of like lead magnets and funnels and drips and AI and follow-ups and tech and like, how do I get more people to pay $4.99 today? And it's like, at some point, I think everyone needs a relief from all of this, like just transactional retailing that's going on. And I can tell you that at a higher level of business, there's so much less retailing. Like the amount of relationship building that goes on for sometimes years before a significant size transaction is eventually made at the right time. Like there's too much, and I don't want to hear if you agree with that, Adam, but I think there's a lot of retailing that happens on LinkedIn, and it's a total misunderstanding of how like a higher level of business happens, where there's so much less transactional mercantilism about it. So all the like the funnels and you're going to get an email from us from our SDR after this webinar, which you're not, like there is no SDR, like just stop doing that stuff. And harkening back to that question, I sent direct and to the point messages. I bet it was probably not very relevant to them, the messages. I haven't seen them, but I'm not gonna, and I don't even know your name because it says LinkedIn user, but like that's what most people are doing. Someone earlier asked, it was like, what are the techniques you recommend? I recommend not using techniques is what I recommend. And I know that's frustrating to hear, but like I know every time you take a LinkedIn course, you skip over the mindset section. And that is the only one you should take and repeat it until you get it. Thank you, Peter, for recommending my YouTube. I just go on YouTube and do this stuff, but please stop with techniques and retailing and funnels and transactions. And it's okay to sell info products. That's not what I'm saying. It's like if your whole thing is having a few more people believe your AI message is real, so they buy your thing, and you're not really here for it, for the relationship building, just flip that switch in your brain until you get it. And that's, I think, the main point of this is how you not burn out is to make that shift. If you make that underlying flip switch inside of you, everything you do will be different, right? That's the reason Michael doesn't show up and sell always, because that switch is flipped and he's not here for that. We all need to have revenue. House of Bricks requires revenue, so is Aware. But is that front and top of your mind in every conversation with people? Ideally not.
Well, it's Michael's strategy why the three of us are here today. So if I go in my InMail right now, I've got 4,000 InMails saying we've got mutuals in common or whatever it is. And there was something different about his message. And I was at my son's hockey game and just happened to check my InMail. It was just the right time that he sent it. And I was like, all right, I'll reply to this guy. And then like 6 hours later, I'm like going back and forth. I'm like, here's my freaking cell phone number. Just text me. Like I couldn't get out of him what he did or what he wanted, to the point like a week later, I'm like, dude, you're working for me. Like, come join the House of Brick with me. You know what I'm saying? You got to be a part of what we're doing. What do I got to do to get you on this team? Like, he never told me what he did or a cost or anything. Yeah. And then he joined. Our community grew from 10 to now 50 amazing members, and we've built it strategically. We didn't run ad funnels. We didn't have nurture sequences. It's all based on relationship capital from people I know, people that Michael's built relationships with. And that's really how you have to treat LinkedIn. And the last thing I want to say, and then if there's more questions, is you have to think about the brand damage to yourself of when you are acting like that. So it's like going to the cocktail party, passing out your business card to everybody, and then passing out in the parking lot because you're drunk. Like, you ain't coming back from that. Okay. People are not going to engage with you. And as soon as I see that, it's just that's not what I'm looking for. And you have to understand the brand damage that it can cause. So how do you guys want to kind of wrap this up? Are there more questions coming in?
I'm sure there's a lot of questions. We should let's put them on the screen for more than 2 seconds, please, so that we can address them. So yeah, Troy, that's the thing. You need Aware, because these things just get lost. I'm telling you, if you just don't see the stuff, and they don't see the stuff. So people don't have Aware, so they don't see your replies because they're not actively seeing it, because LinkedIn is not making it easy for them to see your stuff. That's probably why my engagement skyrocketed just on the comments, because this time last year, I didn't have Aware, so I just didn't see all the comments and I didn't make a lot of them. So people are missing it. I think people really are missing the stuff. And I saw somebody mention something about Taplio. It's nowhere near the same. Taplio is not anything like Aware. I know they may probably they're going to want to try to become, I'm sure of that, just like Shield is going to want to try to be like Aware, but it's just not. And look, I think Alex probably looks at this from a perspective of kind of like Volvo and Tesla. This is what we did, by all means, like, this is why we're doing it. But I don't think those guys are going to want to do that, because I think they're after something else. They're more after the automation of engagement rather than the formulaic strategy of radical relationship building as yourself. Those tools are probably like, how do we get numbers? Shield is a stats tool. Alex, I don't think your tool, the stats part of it that's probably like the least important thing to me. I could care less what the stats are. I care, hey, look, this person engaged with me 5 times in the last week. They're interesting. Hey, thanks for liking my stuff. That tells me who is interested in me in a way that I can just focus and go, hey, you liked my stuff 28 times in the last month. Thank you. Like, that is brilliant. I don't care about stats. What do they mean? Nothing. They're just vanity metrics. So to me, it's the least of it.
Images.
Well, but it does show progress. So I'm going to push back a little bit on Michael, because the numbers don't lie. And you want to know how you're spending your time. And just to address Tony's point there, this is a mistake I made. I don't know if you're doing it or not, but Alex talked about not using techniques, but there's a difference between a technique and a discipline. And so I am now very disciplined on when I post, I am there to answer the questions, because most people are not going to come back and reply to your reply. So I'm there and I start a conversation. Like Marina's kind of lighting me up here on the chat, but she posted this shake machine that she's, one of those things you stand on and it shakes you. And so we just started this joke back and forth. She said she's shaking her head at me, and I said that was shake-tacular. So, I mean, but now we've got this dialogue going back and forth about the shake machine. So it is, but you can just build relationships, use your personality, and, that's how you get to know people in using LinkedIn.
Yeah. And like you said, I'm a huge fan of building a healthy discipline to this. When I hear the word technique, I hear what's like a thing I can do to shortcut. Like, how do I shortcut my way into like getting them to buy from me? Or like, how do I get you on a call? Like how do we get you in this car today? That's what technique says to me. It's like, sure, if you didn't mean it like that, fair enough. I usually hear that like, what are the hooks you use to like get people to buy, and what the funnel, and what this, and just which do you OpenAI or Claude? I don't care which one you use. Like, that's not the point. So like Adam is saying, show up with the intent to share something valuable and be there when people respond. That's a discipline. That's not a technique. Again, you do not need Sales Navigator for it. I'm going to renew Sales Navigator for the 10th year in a row, but I use it maybe once a month, mostly for people who sometimes I build lists for Aware customers with it, and sometimes people need training on it. So like I did a big training engagement for a corporation a few months ago. Then they wanted me to train them on Sales Nav, and I was like, yeah, sure. I didn't even mention Aware, but Sales Nav and Aware are not the same thing at all. It's not necessary for it's a building tool.
I use it. Yeah, Sales Navigator is very important. This is actually one of the things that I was going to start reaching out, because I was in the recruiting industry for a long time. I know it well, and one of the biggest things that I think most people don't know is that how to use Sales Navigator, like you said, Alex. And I use Sales Navigator very heavily, and I use it with some. I believe in. I'm not one of those people that hides behind the fact that I use automation, but I don't use automation to automate my personality and thinking, just like I don't do AI for commenting. I use automation. This is the only thing. There's people out there using VAs, and they have human beings that are engaging on their behalf. They're doing everything on their behalf. All I'm doing is replacing instead of writing 50 messages myself, I need something to just do that for me so that I can do it more efficiently. Why? Because here's the thing. If you want, like Adam, you said you're testing when you look at the data and the metrics. Do you know what Aware does not show you, which to me is the most important variable? How many conversations are you having? That's what it is. How many conversations? I had 1,100 last year. 1,100 that I had, that I myself know VA. I had to schedule them. I had to engage with them. I had to do all of that. And most people don't realize is on top of just scheduling 1,100 conversations, you know what you have to also do simultaneously? Have them. So how do you build a system where you can have the conversations while also creating relationships, building them, scheduling all this? So my system that I have, I'll tell you, I don't think anybody else out there is doing it. You know how I know that? Because I told it to a guy who wrote 4 books on tech stacking, and he said, dude, I have no idea what the hell you're doing. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of everything you're doing. How are you even managing it? You have to have a system that works for you. If you don't have a system that works for you, ask a bunch of people what their system is and see which one you can make work for you. But just like a gym routine or a diet, it doesn't matter how good the diet is. It doesn't matter how good the tool is. It matters your ability to stay focused and do it every single day. LinkedIn is not a 3 times a week or whenever I feel like a thing, or worse. The worst of it is I'll just do once a week 100 comments and I'll do that for the week. No one will recognize you. You have to show up every day for everything. Your family, your exercise, your work, your friends, LinkedIn. If you don't do this every day, honestly, do yourself a favor. Don't even bother. Get off the platform, because it's not meant to be passive. The numbers we talk about, 1 billion users, it's not 1 billion users. It's 150 million people maybe that log in on a monthly basis once in a while. 3 to 4 million are actually content creators and people that are engaging actively. So when you want to do pitch slaps and you think you have unlimited numbers, you don't. You have maybe 10% of the entire population on LinkedIn that's actually maybe will see your content, anything you do. So just be mindful of the fact that you don't have do-overs. Every time you block someone because they ask you a question, calling you out on a lie, which by the way, I get blocked for this more than anything else. I ask people about something I know they're lying about, they block me. To me, that's a badge of honor. Thank you for blocking me. If anybody's watching this, thank you for blocking me when I ask you to prove something that you are lying about. I appreciate it. It means I'm onto something.
So, and I have now changed my name or my banner on LinkedIn headline to the Luck Guru, because the more I talk to founders, it's all about luck, but it's not really luck at all. What Aware does is helps you increase your luck surface area. You have discipline, you're talking to the right people, you're engaging. And so it isn't luck, it's tools, it's discipline, and will definitely help you with your time. I'll disagree with Michael a little bit. You don't have to be on it every day. We do deal with CEOs in House of Bricks that are running their company, and you may not have it, but everyone has 15, 20 minutes a day that they could make it effective. I don't want to scare people away. Not everyone has to go to Michael's level, but what Aware does is, helps you make the time you spend more efficient. So as we wrap up here, I don't see any other questions. I'm going to drop here in the chat this PDF to download. No, I'm just joking. That was our lead magnet. That was a joke. Come on. Alex was like, dude, you better not put a lead magnet.
I don't mind a PDF. It's just, if you put a PDF, it's probably going to be, I would read your PDF.
Yeah, thank you. I'm dating myself. Maybe a link. I don't know. I was just trying to be funny.
Maybe we should, look, for anybody on this call, maybe we should just do them a favor. I don't know, Adam. What do you think? Should we just at least give them the HOB code? If they want to, because it'll only be the people that were here that can actually get it. Do you want to do it? That's up to Alex and you. But that could be our one lead magnet. If somebody wants it, they can have the exclusive access.
If you're listening right now, just put in HOB as your coupon code. I'm not going to say it anywhere else. So if you're listening, there's your coupon code. It's 20% off forever. But I won't post that anywhere. There's no follow-up.
Seriously, I'm raising prices. So Michael owes you money. I was raising your price. He just gave people a discount. So anyway, we're over time, but great activity, good comments, great questions. Alex, thank you for joining us today. And again, super, glad you're part of the House of Bricks community. Love the Aware tool. And I think this was very valuable for anyone that joined. So I want to thank everybody for joining us on another Brick of the Week. We do this every Wednesday, and sometimes it's just me talking. Sometimes we have guests. We're going to get more consistent and going live more often just due to the demand and interest. And appreciate everyone joining today. Have an awesome week. And listen, January's almost over. Did you hit your goals? Are you on track, right? Like, have your strategy. Where do you want to go? Where are you now, and how are you going to get there? And I know the Aware tool will definitely help you do that. So thank you, everybody, for joining, and we will see you next Wednesday.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.